Hello, this is the HatchetJob.com gaming netcast, and I'm here with Higgledy,
Hi.
who's this handsome, who's saying "Go long range," and
Yeah, I missed. I was going for a salute.
oh, I saw the salute afterwards. How'd you do that? What was the button again?
Down on the
Oh, down the
D-pad
D-pad.
and then select. Oh yeah, that's.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
did I know you would pick that one? Yeah.
yeah. F you mountains, yeah. And this is a series of videos we're calling WalkyTalky, and it's all about Higgledee's adventures in rambling. And
Yeah.
what you've done, Higgledy, is you have chosen. We're in Far Cry 4 on the PS4. You've chosen a walking route for us, and we're going to walk it, and we're going to find out what rambling is, and maybe hear some of your adventures along the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get
Okay.
going. And you're doing your brothel creeping again. Okay.
Yes, I'll try and it's a delicate balance this to sort of not look weird.
So I think the kind of start of this idea, Higgledy, is we were chatting, and you said to me that you were a rambler, and
Yeah.
and it made me think that, oh well, rambling is kind of what we do in games all the time, especially open world games. But for people who might not know, and Americans might call it hiking, what is rambling?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it is probably similar to hiking unless I misunderstand hiking. But here in the UK, it tends to be a group of people who get together,
Oh,
and
sorry.
one person will have planned out a walking route,
Yes.
and they'll lead you around this route for an afternoon or something. And it'll be on public rights of way. In England, there are a lot of public rights of way.
Sorry, carry on. Just shooting flares at passing
The
cars.
minivans,
Yeah.
yes. Hatchet doesn't like minivans.
No. So, well, I have to say, technically, my name isn't Hatchet, but I can't reveal my.
Ah,
Hatchet's actually the name of the show. But so a public right of way
right.
is a place where the government has said, even though, say, a farmer owns this land, the public have a
Yeah,
right to cross it on a particular path or in a particular kind of section.
that's it. And you can't block it, and you can't sort of dissuade people from going on it. And I think you've even got to maintain it and keep it clear and have stiles and things. And there are people who have public rights of way going through their front gardens and back gardens. And
In
they'll
fact,
sometimes think, well, we'll buy the house and then we'll just block this path. But
yeah.
you can't do that.
In
So
fact,
we
I
get
believe
like 12 ramblers going through.
Jeremy Clarkson is somebody who, on the Isle of Wight, I think he objected to a public right of way on his land, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. So,
I know we went. Yeah, go on.
no, please carry on.
We went through the grounds of a major entrepreneur in the UK who has a lot of money
Yeah.
recently, and he's tried year after year after year to stop a route going through his grounds,
Right.
and he's not succeeded.
I won't ask you who that
And
entrepreneur is, but clearly
well,
it's
I thought I wouldn't say.
no,
I thought
good
I
idea.
wouldn't say.
Good, clearly
Yeah.
a horrible person. Oh, I don't know.
This is it.
Um,
No.
and of course, but so rambling is getting a group of people to basically go for a walk in the countryside, and somebody goes out beforehand and scouts the route.
Yeah.
And would you? I mean, in Far Cry 4 here in Kirat, it's suddenly become dark. So would you ramble at night?
You wouldn't really, and we try and avoid that. In the winter, we'll go shorter walks just so as it doesn't get dark, because you don't want 12 people with torches wandering. The main thing
Wandering
when
through
you're rambling
Jeremy Clarkson's garden.
through that's it, shouting, "Are you? Where are you? Where are you? We're
Yeah.
over here." And the main thing to be a successful rambler
Yes.
or
yes.
ramble leader, the main thing is not to lose anybody. It's frowned upon.
Okay.
We often say that there's an attrition rate of 10% is acceptable, but that's not actually true.
So how old are the people that
Yeah.
potentially might get lost on one of your cocked up rambles, Higgledy?
Well, they can be sort of 30ish. We don't tend to get sort of teenagers or anything.
Right.
I don't think it's particularly a cool pursuit.
Okay.
That's one way to hunt for deer. You
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it, sort of kill it and cook it at the same time.
Absolutely.
And-
efficiency.
That's it. But we do get sort of 90-year-olds on the ramble, and they're a hardy lot.
Right.
Yeah, I had recently. I did a walk, and it was absolutely booking it down with rain,
Yeah.
and I was leading the walk, and we were all wrapped up in all our gear, and we looked like we'd just climbed out of a swimming pool. We were all so wet, and
Yeah.
torrential rain coming down, and my walk had turned out to be a tad shorter than it should have been. And this
Okay.
lady, who I'm sure is at least 80, and I'm sure she's heading towards being 90,
Yeah.
sort of looked at me and said, "Well, we're back a bit early, aren't we?"
Oh
I
dear,
said, "Well,
you've been shamed.
yeah, well, that's it. There's lots of things that can shame you as a walk leader."
And so
And
it's
she's
really dark.
So what she did,
Yeah.
while most of us went to the pub, she and a few other people actually went for another extended walk. They went back down the route we'd come for a couple of miles, and then came back again because they hadn't had a long enough walk.
I mean, that's what
And it
you
was
want
like
to be
torrential rain.
when you're 80, isn't it? You want to be independent and tough and leaving younger guys behind you in the dust.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's it. Yeah, definitely. And I think, well, it's funny. We tend to think, oh well, that's why they're so fit at their age,
Yeah.
because they're going rambling. But then, actually, when you think about it, there's a lot of get off, eagle.
It's all right.
Did you kill it?
I set it on fire.
got
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Excellent. Oh, there it goes, sliding off down the hill.
Oh. I mean, I think it's also maybe that
This-
so this woman is 80-year-old Avenger. What kind of... Oh, I've forgotten the controls, Higgledy, sorry. What kind of gear would she have in her backpack or in her suitcase to go rambling?
Right. Yeah, she would have. What you tend to have is obviously waterproof clothing, which would be a jacket with a good hood,
Yeah.
and possibly you can vary it a bit depending on the time of year. You will often have a hat, like either a woolly hat for winter or a peak cap for summertime.
A woolly hat?
To keep the sun off.
Like one that's waterproof as well, or actually wool? Because if it rains, wool just gets totally sodden.
Oh yeah, but then you can put your hood up over the woolly hat. But
Okay.
it can be very, very cold, so it's sometimes good to have. It's funny, when I was younger,
Yes.
I never bothered with hats, and I had this boss who used to say to me,
"You rebel."
You lose most. Yeah,
Wow,
you rebel.
tough guy.
You crazy fool. You lose most of your heat out through the top of your head.
Yeah.
And I thought, what do
That's
I
not
care?
true.
I'm young. Is it not?
No, because I
Oh, that's
used
good.
I used to believe that for years and years, and I read a headline
Yeah.
somewhere saying that was a piece of research that said basically it's just related to the amount of skin that's exposed to the air. So if you got if you have a head-sized shape of skin, hanging out of your arse, then you'll be losing
Yeah.
an equivalent amount of heat.
Yes.
Now,
An equivalent. Yeah.
of course, people should
Oh,
do their own
interesting.
research and draw their own conclusions, but I think you might have been right, Higgledy.
Oh, interesting. So,
So,
anyway,
yeah.
since then I started wearing. I got a nice woolly hat, and I thought, well, I'll
Yes.
wear that. And now I can't live without them. Now, if it's a cold day,
Yeah.
I think, oh, I haven't got my woolly hat with me, which is probably a sign of age.
Yeah. So I'm just going to shoot this.
Oh, poor man. Here he
Right.
is.
Interesting. Oh, the flame.
There's
the
another
flame went through
minivan.
him.
Another minivan.
Where's the minivan? Oh, and I've set myself on fire. Sorry.
That's
Rambling
karma
with
for
me.
you.
So you
Yeah.
got your hat, you got your waterproofs.
Yes. Good pair of
Sorry, I
boots.
have to ask Higgledy, does your hat have a bubble? Does it have a glowing neon bubble that you can light in case of emergency, like getting lost?
Well, that's a good idea. No, it doesn't. That's
Okay.
a very good idea. Yes, a sort of a light, sort of an orange workman's light hanging off it.
No, on top, like a bubble.
Yeah, no, I was thinking sort of, but it sort of, because it would be so big and heavy, it would hang down a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
I was just sort of elaborating on, yes.
You're improving upon the design. You're realizing the
Yeah.
flaws.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, don't
okay.
hit me. Golden path. So, yes, good pair of boots. I once had a pair of boots that were more fashion boots,
Right.
and I stepped in some deep mud and the sole tore off one of them. So a really decent, proper pair of walking boots.
Yeah.
You can have gaiters, which are these things that go around your ankles, and they stop the mud when you're walking through a lot of mud, which is one of the things constant in England.
Yeah.
The mud tends to travel up the insides of your legs because the legs are sort of rubbing together a little bit, and so you just get this mud all the way up the inside of your legs. So if you're wearing gaiters, it tends to sort of stop that a bit.
Like a capillary action or something of mud up your chest. I haven't heard about that.
Something like that. Yes. Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
It is.
Like Spider-Man. Do you know Spider-Man and the symbiote Venom?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit like Venom, only mud.
Oh my God,
yeah.
this thing is like all blood.
It's getting a bit dark, isn't it?
It is getting a bit dark. Well, that's the end of the show. Thanks. Goodbye. we've done.
Yes, that's it. We're going home.
Yeah.
We didn't think of that, did we?
No.
We could wingsuit off here.
Shall we wingsuit?
You can do.
What's
Don't often wing because it went rambling.
Okay.
Where are
Did
you?
you take a flask with you?
Yes, and butties, and I tend to have a lot of butties. Well, I actually did it. That's good.
So how many? So a butty is a sandwich.
Oh yes, a sandwich to all those who aren't from Lancashire.
Yeah. So you're a northerner. I'm a southerner. Now, do you use white bread or wholemeal?
I should use wholemeal really, but I tend to like white bread.
Okay.
I try and every now and then I try and convert myself back to wholemeal, but I just like white bread.
So you just have a thick doorstop of white bread, and in traditional style, it's just splattered with lard with a piece of coal inside, and that's your.
Yes, yes, that's it. Yeah, and then once, you put the bread, put the butter on it, put the piece of coal inside, hit it with a hammer so that the coal spreads out.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's your carbon
and an onion,
for the day.
Raw onion.
Yeah.
And yes, and some bark.
Oh, we've got a rhino.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Somebody, sorry, this discussion has reminded me. Where's the rhino? You killed it.
Here it is. You scan it. I've got my fill of rhinos.
So this discussion about northern food. There's a Twitter account or a Tumblr account of somebody who just takes pictures of restaurants that serve food in stupid kind of containers because they feel it's modern. And I believe there's one place, maybe in Leeds, that I think it serves fish and chips in a flat cap, which just
oh my goodness,
sounds horrendous.
Oh my goodness, that does. Yeah, I feel sorry for the flat cap as much as anything.
How many flat caps do you have on your walks, Higgledy, on average?
Now that's a good question. I think there is one. There is a guy, an older guy, who wears a flat cap.
Yeah.
But there aren't many flat caps. My dad wears flat caps.
Yes.
My granddad, he was a golden path got run over. My granddad was a market gardener and blind, and he used to wear a flat cap and hobnail boots and a waistcoat, which is a waistcoat.
So a market gardener is somebody that does what?
They sort of grow crops and flowers and things to sell on markets.
Okay.
And he used to grow chrysanthemums.
Okay.
And him and my dad used to travel by horse and cart to a market some distance away.
Right.
Through dawn, they set off in darkness, and by the time they got there, it would be daylight.
Well, it's funny, we're in dawn now. The day and night cycle has basically taken us into dawn.
Oh, it has.
Which is nice,
yes.
Nice kind of synchronicity there.
Yeah.
My father used to know a man whose own father was basically the AA of dead horses in London, because
oh gosh,
the pubs used to have horses that carried the beer and stuff around on carts. And if one of the horses died en route, this guy would go there with his own car and just pick the carcass up, and
really
take it for glue or something. Yeah. And that was he ran these horses. Is a boat a part of this round? Is a boat a part of this course, or you're just thinking about getting it now?
Well, to be honest,
yeah. Well,
I'm making this route up now as we go along. I had a vague plan, but we seem to have gone off. This is a very interesting aspect of walking, and this is why you've got to scout a walk out.
Yeah.
Is if you're traveling through countryside like this, you tend to think you know what direction you're going in.
Yeah.
But you often aren't either going in the direction you think you are or where you think you are.
Right.
And it's very easy. I've done this with a map. If you've gone wrong, it's very easy to sort of assume, well, of course, I'm roughly in the right area of where I want to be. So say you come to a crossroads and you know you've sort of lost roughly where you are. You look at the nearest crossroads to where you're supposed to be and think, well, that must be that crossroads. And then you'll look at other things, and it's very easy to convince yourself that you're actually going right.
So at school, we went on a school trip where we went to some place and we were given a little map and like a compass. And it was an orienteering map. So it was a map that showed the elevation of objects and hills around you. And it shows the elevation, for people that don't know, if you've got a hill, the hill will be shown as a series of kind of circles within circles. And the widest circle is the base, and the smallest one is the top, and that shows you the shape of the hill. So do you not use, when you're going on a ramble, do you not look at your map and then check the terrain, or is it not that complex on a ramble?
No, you definitely do, and actually it's good to be. I sort of pride myself on my map. I was in Scouts, so I pride myself on my map reading skills.
Yes.
And it's actually it's extremely useful if you're planning a route. It's useful to sort of obviously to be able to read maps, but it's also we tend to travel to the start of our rambles on a coach.
Right. Sorry, they might start shooting at us now.
No, that's fine. Oh, where are they? Oh dear. Oh, it's the Golden Path. I was looking. I thought I can only see Golden Path. Oh, I'm down.
Are you? Hold on.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you about these coaches. So we travel to the start of the walk on a coach.
Oh, he killed me, bugger. Sorry.
Oh, that's a Golden Path for you.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't have thrown a Molotov at them. So you get on your coach to before you get. So you travel to the ramble.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have sort of three parties: the A, the B, and the C walk. Yeah. And the A walk is the don't stop, keep walking at a steady pace. Long route march. Yeah. The B walk is a sort of normal walk. Yeah. And the C walk is the slightly shorter walk for people who fancy the sort of shorter walks or couldn't do more. And on the coach there'll be the three walk leaders for those groups, and they'll pass a map round of the A walk, the B walk, and the C walk, and you can look at them and think, what do you feel like today?
Right.
Oh, we're back in the village again.
Yeah, so why do you think you lost concentration? So, I mean, let's think about this now. This is a fairly accurate representation of terrain and a world.
Yeah.
It has rivers, it has rain, it has maps and paths and people walking about. Yeah. What is it that made you lose your place here as opposed to losing it in the real world? Is it that in the real world you'd have a map you're constantly glancing at, or what?
Yeah, in the real world I would the landscapes here in this game are sort of the features are repeated in a way, and there's not you don't have pylons necessarily, or it's all a bit much of a muchness, whereas on an actual walk you would be passing certain houses, or you'd be passing pylons, or walking down a canal. Yeah. Whereas there aren't as many distinct features in this. And also there's another phenomenon which we're reproducing here, which is talking. If I'm leading a walk and somebody engages me in conversation, it's very dangerous, because what tends to happen is you're focusing on them for a little while. And say you're walking down a lane, you'll focus on them for a bit, and you may go past the little nick you were going to go through into a field. Right. And I've actually done that. Okay. So I tend to, if I'm leading a walk, I'll not talk too much to other people, and I'll also have the map with me just to refresh my memory as to where I'm supposed to be going.
So doesn't that make it a bit of a lonely experience? Well, actually, before we get onto that, I want to talk about this terrain. So you're saying that the issue with not having landmarks in this terrain is not because the game isn't well designed, but because
No.
if you were in this terrain in real life, you you would have to go past it many times, and also maybe you'd use the mountains as your landmark rather than houses.
Yes, that's it.
Because
Yeah,
to orient yourself.
It's-
Sorry, go on.
it's somehow almost too uniform, even though it's a representation of the countryside. It's actually more uniform than the actual countryside would be. You know, you would pass a field with cows in, and you would pass a rusty tractor, and
Right.
you would pass like a horse riding centre, and so
Yeah.
you'd be thinking, "All right, I'm gone past the horse riding centre." Whereas here, you're thinking, "Oh well, I'm passing that little hut," or you've killed another minivan.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go on. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So it's
for all this simulation, what it doesn't have is it doesn't have the simulation of a life going on where people leave their stuff in the front garden, or the tractor needs repairing, so it's out by the back of the shed.
yeah, that's it.
So
Or fields, a muddy
Yeah.
ploughed field, or a field full of corn, or
okay.
you know, it's more. By now, I would have passed through different environments and seen different. So it's more memorable. Whereas here, it's not as.
I mean, that's
You know, this spot could be the very same as quite a few other spots in this area.
well, apart from the monkeys that you wouldn't
Apart from
necessarily
the
get in
monkeys,
Cheshire.
yeah. As one guy who who's just started walking, and I've been sort of telling him about how to map.
He
read
just
and
started
things.
walking.
He's-
He must be very young for a rambler.
Oh yes, no, I mean rambling. Just started rambling.
Sorry.
He's older than that,
Yeah.
and one of his favourite jokes is oh right, go left at the cow. You know,
Yeah.
sort of
Right.
memorize where that cow is, and that's the turning point for the entire walk.
Yeah. I'm just gonna chuck some Semtex on this the Mustang. Just chuck that there, and I'll just keep on. I'm following you, Higgledy. I'm just
Right, okay, I'm going up here.
creating havoc.
You're
Where
a
are you?
hooligan.
I am a hooligan.
You'd be kicked out of our rambling group for homicide. It's going dark again. That was a short day.
There we go. I got karma level. I lost karma for that. I thought it gave me karma
Yeah.
for killing us. So, who's the? I mean, talking about hooligans, who's been the most annoying or kind of the most difficult person to deal with on one of your walks? Do you think?
Oh, that's interesting. There was a guy who he's one of these. You know, there are certain men who are very confident in their own skills and possibly too confident.
Yeah.
And jokey, and I really didn't like him
Right.
to start with. You know how certain people you sort of see their personality and you think, I really don't like that person.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was interesting. He's the guy. There's the A party, as you can imagine, are sort of the elite party. You know,
So-
they're the ones who do. Go on.
The A party. So just to remind people, the A party are the ones that walk fast and hard.
Yeah, and go
Yes.
the furthest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The elite.
And his thing, yeah, and it's interesting. This is at one time when we all meet at the end,
Yeah.
and we say if we've got time we go to the pub. If not, we get straight on the coach. The A party arrived back. Everybody was on the coach,
Yeah.
and he and a few others said, "Okay, we're going to the pub now because we haven't been to the pub."
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, that was slightly sort of rankled people the wrong way as
I'm
we all
sorry.
sat waiting on the coach.
I'm sorry, Higgledy. I got distracted by a man glitching in and out of a machine gun. So the A party got back, and then they just said what? Sorry.
They said we're going to the pub, so we were all on the coach waiting to go, and they said, "Okay, we're going to the pub.
Okay.
We haven't had a drink."
Okay.
And
So
then there was a discussion which I found interesting, which was it sort of came down the coach that the A party were the heart of the group. Without the A party, the group wouldn't exist, which is a bit of an
Oh.
Ayn Randian sort of concept. You
dear.
know, it's like.
The politics of
if we
rambling.
weren't here, you wouldn't be here because this entire group, would fall apart without the A party.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it occurred to me, well, the entire group would fall apart without the B party, which is the biggest group, and it might even fall apart without the C party. So
No, that's to be fair. I don't think anything will fall apart if the slowest
if the
people
C
leave.
party wasn't, I suppose not. But they put some funds in and things.
This...
Yeah, they could pay and just not. The Eagles don't like you.
No, they don't like me. I saw this film. I think
They're probably
maybe
trained by.
I saw this film, maybe starring Jack Nicholson, where they go to this idea of you have the A party, the B party, the C party, the strong, the middling, and kind of the casuals. I think this film where they went to some museum of the pioneers in America. It's an American film, and I think it was a real building, a real museum, and there was a plaque on the wall about the pioneers, and it was this really rabid kind of sentiment, and I think it said, "The cowards never left. The weak died on the way. Only the strong survived."
What?
Yeah. And
What?
I was like, wow. Yeah. That's really weird. The weak died on the way. The cowards never left.
It's that thing of the people who survive are the ones who are going to survive, and they deserve to live. And if you got killed, then you were pretty weak anyway. Which is this sort of horrible. Anybody, like if a poet survived the war, he was always intended to survive. And never mind all the poets who were killed, who were probably better than that guy.
I think.
No, if you think about the first World War, what's that guy's name from the First World War?
Siegfried Sassoon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not Vidal Sassoon, who did hair.
No, Siegfried Sassoon. And the fact that he survived, it's because he's such a great poet and he was always intended to survive. Actually, I think he died.
Well, everybody dies eventually. Have you ever had somebody? I've thrown a grenade at a deer. Oh, never mind. Have you ever had somebody have a breakdown on one of your rambles where they just kind of sit down and say, "I can't take it anymore," and they start writing poetry about the horrors of blisters?
No. I've had heat stroke. I had heat stroke once, but I didn't write any poetry.
You had heat on a ramble?
Yeah, it was. I'm not good in hot weather. I think I should have been an Eskimo. Now then, I think we should take this boat.
Well, I think we're at half an hour, Higgledy. What do we do? Shall we carry on?
Are we? Or stop? Yeah, we could stop for a bit, do another half hour.
Okay, so we're going to stop this video and salute and come right back in a moment. So bear with us. Or shall we just? What do you think? Shall we just continue, Higgledy, and chop it up?
Can do. Now we've got this boat.
Yeah, let's continue.
It'd be good if you could get straight in, but without going in the water. There you go.
So you wouldn't normally have a boat on one of your rambles, would you? Okay.
We do sometimes have to. That's amazing. On several occasions, it's been raining so much that the path we were on was actually more like a stream. And we're just sort of walking through deep water, yeah. And some guys who were on the A walk recently, they came to a stream that had swelled so much they couldn't get across it, and so they found this old bath and put that into the stream.
A bath.
And were sort of making their way across. Yeah, they found two baths, and they sort of put them in the water and then sort of clambered across them.
So where were you that you'd find a bath in the middle of a ramble in the countryside?
Oh, they were like, I think they'd been water troughs for.
So there were sheep, kind of animal troughs, right?
Yeah. So no, it can get a bit exciting when you're doing that. But you sort of resign yourself after a bit when you're completely saturated.
Yeah, I'm not so far not really seeing the appeal of a ramble where you get heat stroke and have to move a bloody bath to get across a stream. I mean,
well, those are only the worst aspects. Actually, the last two walks, no, not the very last walk, but the two walks before that, We're absolutely torrential rain. The worst is when it rains from when you start to when you finish,
Right.
because then you just get completely saturated. And one lady, her first 2 walks were those
Yes.
2 walks.
Oh dear.
And we were sort of saying to her, it's never normally like this. So I'm not sure if she'll ever come back again. Hello, Mrs.
Where are you?
Where are you? Oh, you're there.
I'm trying to kill. I want to kill a driving man with my arrow as in his car.
Yeah, I've had a go at that with the lorries. Yeah.
So how
It's
far are
daytime
we
again.
towards our walking in position in this walk? Here,
Well,
this
now
round?
now I'm making this up as I go along, to be honest. Oh, we could walk to, I know where we could
Yeah,
go.
I hit him.
Oh,
He's a bit. Is that in the?
my reputation is going to be mud with the golden path.
So I don't think we should. I think we should try and keep on it. Otherwise, it'll be a never-ending feast, Higgledy. If so.
Never keep on.
Well,
The
because it's
route.
going. I mean, we are doing a video, so it can't. You have to know. You have to have a stop point. Otherwise, we'll just keep on going.
Oh yeah, no, but we can stop when we sort of fancy.
Okay.
Well, I know I've got an end point in mind now.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, so equipment. I was trying to think if there was any more equipment you need. Gloves, a good pair of gloves. In fact, 2 pairs of gloves.
I shot him with. That was actually. Did you shoot him?
I shot one. Yeah, I shot at least one with my shotgun.
Oh, okay. So I thought I managed
You
to.
might have got the other guy.
As-
See if there's any arrows sticking out.
No,
of them.
there
Can't
aren't.
see
There
them.
aren't. No.
Oh, sorry. I gave you the illusion
know.
of having.
It was a
taken them
nice
out with
moment.
one. Yeah,
So-
gloves. I
yeah.
tend to carry 2 pairs of gloves because on a very rarely does it rain all the time on a ramble,
Yeah.
and you have sort of glorious. Let me give you the wrong impression, but you
Yeah.
do occasionally get the day where that happens. And when it does rain all day, your gloves, especially in the winter, your gloves can be like soaked as if you've had them in the sink.
Okay.
And then if you leave your gloves on, your hands are cold because they're sort of bathed in water. But if you take your gloves off,
Yes.
your hands are cold because the wind's blowing past them. And that's just a nightmarish
But
sort of thing to be
I-
happening.
I don't really understand, Higgledy. Why don't you just take waterproof gloves?
Because, yeah, waterproof... they don't tend to do many waterproof gloves. I think probably because they would be too sweaty. Because the trouble is, if you've got sort of waterproofing, it can make you sweaty on the inside. And also, waterproofing lasts so long, but if it's been going all day, in the end, it becomes saturated and just lets the water in.
Well, even I suppose I was going to say leather gloves, but leather becoming in the stitching. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a bit weird, Higgledy, but basically, like the one constant theme that you've talked about in your walking adventures so far is wetness. and
Water.
rain. Is water.
Yeah.
Okay. It will be different in other
Yeah.
countries, but because you're rambling in the north of England, there's water and there's rain
Yeah.
all the time. Now we've put men on the
Yeah.
moon, right? We've got electric
Yeah.
cars, and yet you can't. There's no way for you to find equipment that is waterproof and comfortable.
Oh,
Or is it that you just
There
you
is,
don't
but-
you don't need to spend too much on it?
well, the waterproof stuff is expensive and it doesn't last.
Okay.
You know, so you buy a coat for 80 quid or more,
Yeah.
and then eventually it stops being waterproof, and then you can either buy another coat for 80 quid, or you can hope it doesn't rain. And I tend to sort of err on that side of things.
I suppose. Have you thought about getting
I've
a
got
barber?
waterproof leggings. Sorry,
Have you thought about getting a barber?
a barber. Oh,
A barber jacket.
yeah, that might be too hot for rambling in. You tend to want sort of lighter sort of clothes.
Okay. Okay.
That's the other thing is heat regulation. Having talked about all the rain,
Okay.
if it's a sunny day, you need to be able to. If it's a sunny day, you need to be able to sort of adjust down. You know, take your coat off, or the coat be light enough that you're not going to get too hot.
Okay.
And then I have like a thin fleece that's got a zip down the front, so I can take that off.
Right.
and I'll perhaps wear a thin sort of a shirt and a thin t-shirt. Lots of layers. That's what they tell you in the Scouts. Have lots of thin layers, and then you can adjust for what the weather's doing. Because you can walk, it can be a really hot sunny day down in a valley, but then if you got up to the top of a mountain, or top of a hill, it can suddenly. That's a nice scene with the elephants.
It is a nice scene, isn't it?
It can suddenly be freezing cold with a wind going by. So being able to adjust your temperature is an important thing. Now then, there's a lot more cliffs and hills around here than I remember.
I feel like a bit of a dick because I've thrown landmines by the elephants, but never mind.
Oh no, you rotter! You're basically cutting a swathe of destruction through the countryside.
I am.
There'd be posters up all around the country if this was for real of you.
Elephant killer. I was going to ask Higgledy, how did you get into rambling?
Basically, I was putting on a lot of weight, and I thought, well, I need to do some exercise, but I'm not really a sportsman.
Yeah.
I've done five-a-side football and things, but there's no real appeal there to me. So it's hard to get yourself to do something when you're not really that interested.
You're missing this nice view, Higgledy.
Where?
Here, especially
nice
with the
view.
Huh?
With the indication of where your landmines are.
No. It's just the trees, and then the kind of the road as it curves down to the left, and then the lake on the left-hand side.
And the little pheasant job there, cracking pheasants, those aren't they? That's the other thing, is we often see wildlife and some rhinos down there. No, it is a nice view. Oh, I think we've spotted lunch.
Fuck off! Fucking pig is going for me. What the hell? Sorry, I've got my landmine out again.
Yes. You've got to.
Oh God.
The pigs, the domesticated pigs won't attack, but the boars will.
Where I've lost you now. I'm sorry. I'm getting totally confused.
I'm here.
Okay. Good. I don't want to lose you.
Good go. More boar. Is it down? No, it's run off. Oh, sliding down a cliff.
Do you encounter animals on your walks apart from cows and things?
We do. I've seen a deer. We sort of see pheasants and things. I saw a yellow wagtail the other day and got a good photograph of it. I take my camera on all the rambles, and I take hundreds of photographs because I do art classes, so I often see scenes that would be good for a class. So I snap away, and they're all mostly used to me now, snapping away.
Oh, I thought you could say the animals. There's that big creature with the clicking thing again.
Oh no, the animals never get used to me.
This bloke ran over a deer. Oh, may as well make something out of it.
Oh my God, man! I gotta tell you, this is fucking gross.
Where are you?
Down the road a little way.
I'm behind you. Are you checking the map?
Yeah.
We actually discussed, didn't we, before doing this video, that we wondered whether you should use the in-game map or actually try and use a physical one, but we kind of decided that using a physical one doesn't add anything to the experience because the viewers won't be able to see you using it.
No, that's it. And just like in real life, I like to check my map now and again.
I mean, it's a shame that, you know, it's just a video game, but there are places like this in the world, and they're obviously not with the Rhino, but it really would be astounding to be in this kind of area, wouldn't it?
It would. Oh, it'd be fantastic. And they do sometimes do walking holidays.
Yeah. No, he's not coming after me, is he?
No, he's decided I'm the one. Oh, heck. Is he coming? No, he's coming after you, that one, I think.
Why is he... Oh!
Oh, you're on his back.
Oh!
Oh, hey. You were sort of lying on his back then.
Oh!
Oh, reloading. Don't hit me. Struth. Oh, coming.
Yeah, thanks. Anytime you're ready.
Anytime now.
So, I mean, hopefully what we'll do over the course of these videos, because it's going to be a series, again, the series is going to be called
Yeah.
WalkyTalky, is that we'll just kind of walk in Far Cry, we'll hear about your adventures in Rambling, and it'll just be a nice, mellow video that, just kind of just put it out there and see what happens. And with a bit of luck, we'll also be trying to go rambling in GTA 5.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Because I think...
Which I think could be interesting.
It could be. It's not going to be as beautiful as this.
No, it's not. And it's not going to have such nice grass.
No.
I love the grass in this. Or rhinoceroses, but that may be a blessing. Or eagles, which might also be a blessing.
Have you ever come across a badger on one of your rambles? Oh, they're nocturnal,
no,
aren't
other
they?
than a dead one.
Are you...
Yes, that's it.
Where did you find a dead badger?
Oh, you sort of see them along the side of the road sometimes.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I remember there was a squashed hedgehog outside my house about 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and just down the road, and it had its little feet were squashed. I felt very bad. It looked like, it was actually like a cartoon because it had been displayed out like it had been run over by a roller coaster. There wasn't any blood. It was just a pancake. And yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, I once ran over a rabbit, and it sort of ran off, but I seem to have clipped it whether I caught its foot or something. It was bounding and leaping about as if it was in pain. My friend, once, they were driving along a country lane at night, and they saw a badger in the road.
Yeah.
And it was like high banking, so there was nowhere for this badger to go. So they slowed down to like 5 miles an hour and followed this badger as it ran at top speed, also at 5 miles an hour ahead of them. And then it sort of went off into a hedge somewhere, and they were imagining the badger thinking, I actually outran a car. I can't believe I outran a car. So he was all right. But no, my camera has got a 20 times zoom on it, so I can actually zoom in. It's good because you can zoom in on birds, and you're not within a distance that makes them feel uncomfortable, so they'll just hang out as normal.
Okay.
And you can get some nice close-up shots of them.
All sounds very pleasant.
Oh yeah.
So
I do take hundreds of photographs.
We're at 43 minutes in, Higgledy.
Right. Oh well, this might be a spot to call it. With this heffalump.
Just it's quite nice actually. It's quite nice, just kind of. I know it's role playing to why is he driven up there? It's role playing to a degree, but just being in a nice little virtual environment.
That's it, and not necessarily doing a lot, but just seeing what happens, what life is going on.
Yeah. Oh.
I love these elephants.
Yes, they are nice, aren't they? Oh, is he angry? No, I think he's
I think he may have heard of your reputation.
Yeah, just wants to be left alone.
And you're carrying a flare gun. I think,
yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, how far is your destination point, Higgledy? Can we get there in an hour?
Well, let's
within
see.
15 minutes. If we run, if we need to run, we can run.
We might just about do it. We've got to go. It's a fair way off. I seem to have come sort of a lot lower down. There's a boat. We could head up. Actually, that might be quite nice if we head up in a boat. Yeah. Chugging along. One thing I really liked about Far Cry 2 was travelling in the boats.
Yes. Yeah, I loved Far Cry 2.
Oh, that's a jet ski.
We can jet ski.
Yeah, okay, there's 2 jet skis here. That's a good idea. So there's one jet ski over there. Can you see it?
I think I can get on the back, can't I?
Can you?
Well,
there's another jet ski.
We're about to find out.
I'll bring this jet ski over, and then we'll try.
Okay.
And if not, we'll have 2. Oh, you bugger. Which way am I facing? Here we go. On my way.
Okay. Yeah,
They're not getting
there's
on the
space for
shore.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Oh. Great.
You on?
Yep.
Right.
I mean, this is, you know, it's kind of a... It might be a strange video for people to understand, because we are just talking and just being in the world, so there's not a huge amount of action, there's no pumping music, or... Well, that's for copyright reasons, but it's pleasant enough. I think it's kind of a late-night video.
Yeah. No, I quite like... I think that might be good in Grand Theft Auto as well. You sort of experience the world differently when you're not doing missions and attacking things. You just sort of see it more as an environment and see what the NPCs get up to and what the animals get up to. I was waiting for you one time on a little hill above a farm, and just see, have you dropped off the back or anything?
No, I'm still here.
No, you're on, are you? And there were bears spawning in and eagles spawning in and farmers being eaten by wolves, and it was just all sort of changing before my eyes. And you just wouldn't see that if you were rushing off to your next destination. Now then, hang on. I'm going the wrong way.
But just pretend this is the bathtub that you mentioned earlier, or the trough.
Yeah. It would be good if we could jet ski in our rambles, but we don't. So I always have a cup of tea at the end. I'm not a drinker at all.
Right.
I've just never been interested in drink. So I always have a cup of tea at the end of the rambles and want to go into a cafe. And a lot of the men go into the pubs and have beer and stuff. And there's a few of the men you sense that actually the beer is the thing that they're almost what they're there for, you know. They talk about the beer on the walk, and they're sort of counting the hours until they actually arrive in the pub. And
Well, it's clear. I mean,
how long are we going to have to drink and things like that?
well, I think that's their version of a reward, because if they just wanted alcohol, they'd just go and buy it, wouldn't they? So it's more than just the beer; it's the experience.
Yes, but it's one of those situations where, yeah, it's a bit like when I was in Australia. I went to Cape Tribulation, which is next to the rainforest, and there were guys there who were just at Cape Tribulation,
Yeah.
in the pub, in the bar, and they
what
would
is
just go
Cape
to the bar every
Tribulation?
day and drink.
What is Cape Tribulation? First of all, people who don't know.
It's in high up in Australia, and it's a rainforest area.
Right.
So there are sort of guided tours, and there are fox bats, are they? Flying foxes.
Yeah, yeah.
And things like that. And I went on several tours out into the rainforest, and you can see all the wildlife and stuff. But there were guys there who were just in the bar, and you think, well, you could have stayed in the bar in the UK and done that. So I think there is a thing where that your desire for alcohol, or your desire to drink, overrides what you could actually be doing at the time. And I think the people who are on the ramble who want to have a beer are a bit like that. You know, the sort of even though they want to do the ramble, it's actually sort of taking second seat to their desire to have another beer and how long they'll have at the end of the walk to drink. Which I'm really pleased I don't drink. The more time goes on, the more I'm glad I don't
I think
partake. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't drink either. I've never got over that thing as a child where you taste beer and you go, "Oh, that's horrible."
No, well, that's it. Yeah.
But I can easily understand the appeal of on a long day, a warm day, you sit down in a nice pub and the fireplace is going, and you have a nice pint, or maybe you have something from a microbrewery. So it's also about the experience and tasting new things. To me, that sounds very pleasant.
No, it's never really appealed to me, and pubs have never appealed to me either. But then that's probably because I don't drink, so I've not got really any pleasant associations with pubs. I'd much rather be in a cafe.
Probably self-selecting people that don't drink.
Yeah,
there's a Venn diagram.
Don't really see the point of a pub. Oh,
I'm just chucking. Can I save them with my Molotovs from here?
To
I
a
don't think
man with
so.
Molotovs, everything looks flammable.
No. Yeah, exactly. Where are you? Okay.
Have you got me?
Yep.
This is a nice little area you might not ordinarily visit.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's another thing is when I was living down in Kent than up here,
Yeah.
you would sort of go on a walk in an area where, you know, very close to your home, and you would see, like, you would go through apple orchards, or you would go through an area where they were growing nuts, or you would see a beautiful little valley with, you know, with wildflowers in, and you would never have known it was there unless you'd gone on a walk.
And then do you
So
tell people about
similar
these
to
places,
this,
or do you just kind of keep it secret so that it's not ruined by people tramping through?
I think you know, you might sort of save the walk and use it for later rambles, but
Yeah.
they're tricky to get to. You know, you'd have to do some walking to get to them normally.
Right.
Oh, you bugger.
Nice. Good shooting.
Good. Had enough practice. What's coming? Aha. Whoa.
That was interesting.
You
I
threw a grenade, did you?
Yeah, but it's like their animation of the fire overrode the physics from the grenade because they didn't move.
Yeah. Whoa.
We've got another one. No, this is good guys.
Yeah.
Oh. So, let's go. It's small things like that I like in games.
Let's go, he says.
Noticing.
They seem to be angry for no apparent reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They seem to have taken against us.
The council put little trees outside our house, and we up the street, and the people opposite us have a cherry blossom, and we have some apple thing. The cherry blossom is much nicer. Really, it looks much nicer. Although the apple leaves, the apple tree, whatever it is, has less blossom, so it's not as bad for the cars. So I'd love to have a garden with cherry blossom in.
Oh yeah, there's some lovely. That's one thing about sort of painting and things. You do start to notice all these things. There's so much blossom about. It's lovely. You can see why the Japanese are into cherry blossom and sort of celebrate it. It's gorgeous stuff, isn't it? Bugger to paint, but it's gorgeous stuff. Yeah, I think we're getting close to our destination. And look at all these trees. They're fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah. I'd quite like to live in a little foresty area, I think.
Yeah.
Secluded.
Yeah, I think I lived in a village when I was little, and I like being out in the countryside. I lived in Newcastle when I was at college, in the city, you know, and after a bit, you sort of miss, on a subconscious level, you miss trees and fields, and it doesn't feel quite right.
Are these rhinos, or they are rhinos, but they're ignoring us?
Oh, good. Ah, we've come out above the arena.
Oh, that's interesting. Is it?
So this was my destination.
Well, that's actually quite a nice way to do it, to come up through rhinos. So I think we've come to the end of the road, as Boys to Men sang.
Yes. Yes, in more ways than one.
So shall we say goodbye, Higgledy?
Yes.
So this has been WalkyTalky. The first video, or videos if I split into little chunks of the series. And Higgledy is... how do I do this again? I press up.
Down on the D-pad, and then... No, you got the wrong one again.
Yeah.
You seem to gravitate towards that one.
So we'll upload this video to YouTube, youtube.com/hatchetjob.com, DOTCOM. Please follow us on Twitter. And of course, Higgledy, your YouTube channel, your personal one is...
Tiber, which is Tiber, and those are just videos of little gameplay clips without me talking, just nice little moments that happened in a game.
Excellent. So I'm going to end. I'm gonna jump off, and I will cancel the video mid-jump. So thank you for watching,
Right,
and
okay.
keep an eye out for the next episode of WalkyTalky. Oh, I couldn't stop it in time. Uh, never mind. Yeah, and goodbye.